are live on Facebook before we get going. Hi, Deirdre. Oh, I miss my Tampa people so much. Dean, have you ever been to Florida?
Never been.
And you show all over Miami, don't you?
Well, yeah, in the past, I've sort of done stuff in Wynwood, I believe it was in Miami, for Miami Spectrum a few years ago. So I've done some stuff down in Miami, but I've never had the chance to come out.
Yeah. Huh. Well, hopefully this just went live. I don't know if we're live. Oh, join us. Yes, good. We're live. Oh, it's so funny. I can't. Sometimes you got to wonder, like, what's happening when I go live and all that. So we'll wait. What we do is we usually wait like a good 5 minutes and just get some people on.
Superb.
And as more people come on, a lot of people, what I like is I like when people come on to Zoom, because then I can just focus on Zoom, right? And but we have to do the Facebook Live, and so I have to like task, and I need some help. I need some help. I need someone to help me with everything. Hi, Pa. So Dean, that's my dad.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, his name is Michael, and he actually came to Argentina with us too. I believe I'm once things get into somewhat back into the swing of things. I know Deirdre's coming down to Argentina, and I believe Genevieve will make her way down to Argentina too. And Dean, I would love to get you down there to do some of your photography.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a nice place to go and do things like that. It'd be an amazing opportunity. It really would.
Yeah, I think that would be just wonderful. Great. Mike and Derek are coming on. Excellent. Hi, Mike. Yeah, lots of Florida folks. Look at your background. I love it.
That was before daylight savings time. Now it's totally dark out there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you guys will all be, I don't know if everyone realizes, but Dean is actually over in the UK. So it's actually Thursday morning.
Oh.
Dean.
Good morning, Dean.
How's it going, Mike?
Going well.
Yeah. Wonderful. Let me just double check and make sure. Yeah, we are live. And I hope last time we had a bunch of people on Facebook trying to get into the Zoom, and the Zoom link didn't work. So just want to check, and then we can go ahead and get started here. I don't know if our regulars, we have a lot of regulars who come on.
Sure.
But and so you may not see Melanie. Melanie's not here today. She is sick and recovering, so hopefully she'll get real well. And December, we decided this month, since we're doing Dean was supposed to be November, but we postponed it because of Thanksgiving. We decided December we will not have Wine and Wisdom. This will be our November and December Wine and Wisdom, and then we'll reconvene in January, which is so exciting that we can just start a fresh year. I cannot believe that 2020 is coming to an end, and yeah, it's just amazing. So yeah, really neat that we'll not do Wine and Wisdom, and then 2020 comes on. We're actually going to bring on I think she's now I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but she is now a top selling author, and she's actually my executive coach, who took a company from three franchises to 23, and social enterprise became a huge part of that. So I'm like just real excited for January as well. But perfect. I think we can get started, and if people come in, they come in, right? And I don't see any messages of links not working, so we should be okay. Yeah, excellent. So, oh, we have some more. Hold on. Oh, excellent. No worries. Excellent. Okay, so I will go ahead and oh, we got more people. Hold on as we start. Great. Hey, Erin, great to see you. Wonderful. Well, I'll go ahead and then begin. And I'm so thrilled for today. And thank you all again for joining us. It's another, I think this is our 5th month doing this. And it's been amazing. People have been great, giving us some incredible feedback. So welcome back to those who have come back. And I want to welcome those who have never been with us. So thank you for joining us at Wine and Wisdom. Again, I don't know if you all know me. I'm pretty sure everyone on Zoom knows me, but on Facebook, oftentimes we get some new people. And I'm Maria Larcella. I am the founder of Humanity Wine Co. And this is Wine and Wisdom. And so we focus super fun. This is a fun and interactive, thought-provoking dialogue. And that's what we want to do, is just relax, have a glass of wine, and really get to know our featured guest and start developing a relationship, not just myself and the featured guest, but actually you folks to come in and get to know who our guests are, get to know me, get to know each other. Because at the end of the day, we are really a community of thoughts leaders. We are a community of like-minded individuals. And I'm just thrilled to have you here on Wine and Wisdom, where tonight we are talking with Dean Rossiter. And Dean, you have to correct me if I said your name wrong, but
No,
I've been
good.
Yeah, excellent. He's our guest tonight, and tonight it's Meet the Artist, and we're going to announce some really cool things tonight. And so without further ado, I want to introduce Dean to you. Dean is an internationally acclaimed artist. He has showcased in Hong Kong, London, Paris, New York, Miami, UK, Shanghai, LA. I mean, everywhere. It's just quite amazing. Dean's work is stunning. And he also is the owner of an art academy. And I just want to welcome you, Dean.
Thank you.
Welcome to Wine and Wisdom.
Good to be here, guys.
Yeah. And I just want to give people a little bit of a background, because everyone kind of, there's a few new people on Zoom, which is great. So Derek, Aaron, Deirdre, I want to tell you guys that this is an interactive event. So when you are wanting to ask a question, tell a story, interject, that's what we do here. We're a family, and so we can go for that. But I want to tell you guys a little bit about my story with Dean. Our guests are truly top of their industry, and Dean is quite remarkable. I think when we get into some storytelling, Dean, I think people will understand what's going on with your kind of art and who you are. But Dean and I met through a mutual friend, Daniel, and Daniel is our CTO, and he's gone to Argentina with us on the Del Sol side, and he's actually our chief revenue operator on our wine side. So anything you see like online or anything like that is all Daniel. Well, Daniel went to university with Dean. And when we were chit-chatting last year about fundraising, I'm obsessed with art, and Daniel knows that. He said, you need to meet Dean. We need to get Dean involved. And I was like, who's this Dean guy, you know? And sure enough, Dean is here with us now. And I'm so thankful to have you with us, Dean.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah. Well, excellent. So I guess I'm going to get right into a question. And if anyone has any questions, y'all let me know. And oh, wait, what am I saying? Hey, cheers. Salute. What?
Cheers.
Salute. By the way, Dean, what are you drinking?
Beer. I mean, I'm British, so don't be too harsh on me. We don't drink a lot of wine over here. We're all beer lovers, so please excuse me and let me partake.
All good, man. All good. I think everyone's drinking wine, or some people tea. It's everyone's preference, but yeah, for me, it's my night to have a glass of wine and just relax with you guys. So Dean, do you want to, first of all, do you want to say anything before we start? Because I'm going to go into a question right away, if that's the case.
No, by all means, let's go.
Excellent. So by the way, these questions, if you guys have questions in advance, send them to me moving forward. But these questions come from our buddy, Brandon. He has been diligently coming to our Wine and Wisdoms, and he was so excited to hear that we had an artist on. and he's background by trade as a sommelier. So he was like, I wanna write Dean. And I was like, yeah. So he said a bunch of these questions and they were amazing. So I figured let's add them to the doc here. So I guess the first question, you are an artist and you work with a variety of media. What is your favorite media to work with?
It's sort of a difficult one to pin down. I don't really have a favourite medium. And when I think about it, I guess the real reason I work in these different mediums is the variety they offer. And, you know, for me as an artist, I see mediums purely as a means to an end. And, you know, with the paintings that I do, I love the energy and spontaneity and the immediacy that I can create within that. But with, say, for example, the collages, I can really focus on creating something over an extended period of time. And that precision is something I just can't capture with painting, or at least the way I paint. And then with the photography that I do as well, I've always been aware that photography has the ability to not so much create or recreate, but capture things. So in the summer, over here in the UK, such as this image, we had the Black Lives Matter protests here in London, and I knew it was something that I wanted to engage with, but I knew that if I painted it, it just wouldn't have the same effect. I think for sort of hard-hitting subjects where you've got to really get your message across, rather than trying to recreate it, you're far better to capture that. And there's an authenticity, I think, with photography. And I think with all art, you know, you should pick the medium which allows you to get your message across best and most authentically. I think authenticity within art is incredibly important.
Yeah, excellent. Like if you guys go to his website, deanrossiter.com, I think it's deanrossiterartist.com.
Artist.com, yeah.
Artist.com and ROSSETI. We'll get it. I have it.
Close.
I don't have it in front of me, but you need to go to his website when I post it, because you guys will see that I have it up. You guys, his photography is amazing. And whether, I don't care what you stand, where you stand politically. I don't care about that. What I care is that there's people who have a message and you captured it. And that the message is captured so amazing in your work, in your photography. And I was saying, like, we need to get you to Argentina. I would love to get you around our kids and what's happening down there. I think that would be amazing. But Dean, as you can tell by a few of these photos, I'm going to take this down here in a little bit, and I'll bring it back up later on. But if I'm correct, Dean, can you share where this particular art showed and what's behind this art? Because this is a very different medium, obviously, to photography.
Yeah, so these are my paintings. And this series was a series that I made a few years ago. And the stuff that I'm making now painting-wise builds upon this, both thematically and visually. And this series, not these paintings in particular, but this series has been shown in New York. And bizarrely, it was around about this time last year, that a painting from this series was shown at the Louvre at the Carousel for the 2019 SNBA, which, you know, as an artist, especially European artist, it was something I never thought would ever happen. It was just an amazing experience, and you know, to sort of be given the opportunity to sort of be within that context was just something I never experienced or would ever expect to experience.
Right. Has anyone been to the Louvre that's on here right now? I'd love to hear your experience about the Louvre. I remember the first and only time I went to the Louvre, I went like an hour before it was closing. And it was ridiculous. I was like, what am I doing? This place is unbelievable. So I had 1 hour. And of course I went and saw the Mona Lisa, which was the biggest disappointment of my life. I think it was terrible. It was a beautiful piece of work, but it was not what I had anticipated for the Mona Lisa to be, right? Has anyone else been to the Louvre? I saw Genevieve, I think you raised your hand.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you think of the Louvre? Oh, I don't know if we hear her. She may be on in and out, but that's okay. Yeah, the Louvre is a beautiful, beautiful place, and I can imagine as an artist, to have your work there is just. I think that's like a milestone in your career that you never think you'll ever get there. Maybe you think you will, but and you did it at such a young part of your career. Just amazing. You know, kudos to you.
Thank
This is
you.
really, really awesome piece. This is when I think I first fell in love with the paint. And then when I saw this collection, I didn't know what it was because on the website, you can't really tell that this is actually a collage. And so you used fabrics, you used all sorts of stuff for this series, which I thought was amazing as a medium. Yeah, that was excellent. And yeah, so that's Dean, and this is one of my favorite shots. That is one of my favorite. So is this part of this is your painting, the ones you did?
This is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so amazing. Well, wonderful. So I'll stop sharing, and then if I remember, guys, because you know I'm very bad with the screen sharing and all that stuff. But needless, did you guys ever create any art? Like, what have you ever created art, guys? Is that something you did? I know that my father is a writer, so I do consider writing art. But is there anything visually that anyone has ever created?
I used to draw a lot as a kid. Abstract drawing was something I loved doing. It was kind of, there's like two sides of my family. My mom's side are all artists, and my dad's side are all musicians. And I did not get any musical talent whatsoever. And so I made do with a combination of writing poetry in my journal and abstract drawings. And I guess I have to ask Dean because you know, I like the idea that when he said something about capturing an idea, right? It's and so and for people who draw and there's a distinction to be made, I suppose. How much approach, percentage-wise, would you say that you approach your art with an idea versus an image? And I say that to say because I feel like for a lot of people, and even when like I started drawing, because you know when I started drawing, and I wouldn't by any means consider myself an artist, it was just how I express myself. So at first, of course, it was this idea of an image. I'm going to sit down and I have an image in my head, and I'm going to, you know, get it down onto some kind of medium, be it paper and clay or something. And then, you know, as I got older, it started becoming an idea, you know, it started moving into kind of this theme of okay, I don't have an image in my head. I have an idea. I have a feeling. I have something that I don't really have words for that needs to be expressed. And I'm going to put a pencil to paper until that comes out, whether it be in word form with poetry or whether it was just, you know, scribbles and doodles on a paper until I felt that that idea was thoroughly conveyed. So for you in your process, you know, how much of it is that image that you see, like, you know, that whole, you know, see the statue in the marble, and how much of it is I just need to express this raw emotion, and you know how it comes out is how it comes out.
Excellent question.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good question. And I mean, it depends on what it is I'm trying to do. So I would say the majority of the time, I don't have a clear visual idea of what I'm going for. I'm mainly led by an initial thought. And it may not even be, and 9 times out of 10, it isn't a fully realised idea. It's just an inclination. And I sort of follow that instinct through. And I mean, my paintings is a good example of this. My paintings aren't visually representational of everything. They're just abstractions. And they're process led. There's no idea behind how they're going to look after, because the way they're made, as you saw in the previous image, I'm mixing these pigments and chemicals in a cup, and I'm quite literally throwing them on the surface. So it's completely contingent, and I can't control the outcome. So with the paintings, there's never really a visual idea of how it's going to look. It's mainly a response to an idea, or as you say, an emotion. I need to get this out. But with things such as photography, with that, you know, I don't really have an idea of the image either. I'm just purely there to try and capture and record what is happening. But with the collages, there is more of an idea visually of what I'm trying to create, because with the collage, I can create things in quite a methodical way. I'm dealing with visual sources, which I pull together to create something, and it's a development, it's a process. I'll maybe start with an initial idea, and I'll bring these disparate elements together. And then through the process of making the work, my idea of what I'm trying to strive for or achieve visually becomes clearer. And then once I have reached that clarity, the collages are done. So it all depends, I'd say, on the medium itself and what it's I'm going for. You know, sometimes I'm just trying to get an idea out, but sometimes I am trying to visually create something. And my choice of medium influences that hugely.
So interesting. So interesting. You know, we have Erin on here, and Erin, I know that you are in a totally different world, but yet I consider what you do art. Like, I'm obsessed with what you do. She's on the construction, architecture, interior, you know, that's her world. You know, Erin, do you have that? Like, I have an idea and you actually see the whole thing before you move forward, or is it an instinct like Dean was talking about? Depending on the medium, of course.
It's both. And anyone in my, you know, industry world has to have that vision, because when you are building a structure or, you know, creating anything that isn't there, you have to see it first. That's why I love what I do, because, you know, I am licensed as a broker, and I've been on sales I started in a sales capacity, but I was lucky enough to get in with new development projects when I first started as a assistant broker in real estate. And what I love the most about it is that in new construction, the initial stage is getting into a meeting with a group of people and putting this idea, which starts with the developer who, you know, has the means to make this thing come to fruition because of the finance aspect, but then they need an architect to help them structure it. And then as brokers, you know, when you're dealing in new construction, we speak with the buyers and we know what the buyers want. So then we come in with our element of what's marketable. And then it's a big group effort. And that's what I love about what I do, because there is such an art to it. And when people really care, in you know, the capacity that I'm talking about, these meetings are really just about creating a piece of work that someone else will appreciate, hopefully love, and be happy with.
Yeah. Isn't that just amazing? Yeah, that's just amazing.
That's what I love the most about it, because I would walk through these spaces when they were raw space, and, you know, I of course knew what the final product would look like because I was a part of everything, and I would have to convey to the prospective purchaser what this will look like. This is not just a cement, this is a cement block now, but this is what, you know. So I always believed, I was lucky enough to work with good people initially who were great at what they did, and they wanted to use the best materials, and they really did want to deliver a good product. So I was able to convey that. And then I got to be on the whole process and see when the people actually closed and, you know, were happy and couldn't wait to move their furniture in, and then they came back to do their final walkthroughs and it was complete. So it definitely has a huge art. It is art. And when it's done right and when people care.
Yeah.
You know, in my field.
Absolutely. And I feel, Dean, there's so many parallels. The only thing that I would say is you do your work alone, where someone like Erin has that team, and you are just, you do it alone. And I know, because I've read so many of your interviews, and there is that aspect that it is a singular thing. Can you tell everybody that you actually had an assistant? Yeah, that's a great story. I love that.
Once upon a time, I had an assistant, But, I realised that after a few months, I didn't really need it. I mean, I partner up with loads of people all over the world for the projects that I do. But with the art, it's such a personal thing, for me at least anyway. And too much external influence can be suffocating. I don't like people sort of encroaching on things when I'm trying to get them out. With the art, I don't try and force things out. I just want to let it flow. And I don't really think too consciously about what I do. I just let myself go in the studio. And sort of having people in there which, give their opinion on it, it can make it quite difficult. So with the art, I work pretty much solo in the studio. It's just me. I sort of have people from time to time to help me with the admin, but the actual production of it, it's just purely me. I know that now, sort of, it's not always been the case, but it is more common that people now have this almost this factory-like aspect to making art. Some studios do it, some artists do it. For me, it's really important that what I do is just me. It's I can't always convey what it is I'm doing whilst I'm doing it, and it's important for me to just be let loose to get what I'm trying to get out as authentic as possible. So that's why I sort of work on my own, but they never tell you that at art school. Being an artist is incredibly solitary. You spend most of your time in your head, which I think can be good, but it can also be dangerous. So it's one of those weird things, but for me, it's always been, it's me and the idea and the work. And that relationship, that private relationship, whilst I'm trying to create it, is really important.
Yeah. I feel there's this artist and entrepreneurial aspect that we're very similar. Like when all the lockdowns started and everyone's freaking out and all this, like I was like, nothing new. For me, I can stay home for days and not even know I'm home because I'm just sitting working. The only thing I do is go out and work out. So I worked out at home, no big deal. I feel the same for you. Like it can be dangerous though, because we don't interact. My poor parents, I call them every day, but like that's about it. So I understand. I get the solo aspect of what you do. You touched upon your influence and whatnot. So I would love to talk about can you talk about some of your current work that you have been working on, which I am obsessed with and I can't wait to show people. You guys will be seeing it toward the end of the interview. The discussion, this isn't an interview, this is us hanging out. But tell us about some of your newer work and what you're working on.
Yeah, so I mean, like Maria said, when the sort of lockdown hit, it was almost like heaven in some respects to me, because it allowed me to just focus on my art. I couldn't sort of go out and do things. And in the UK, we had a really long lockdown. It lasted about 4 or 5 months. And bizarrely, we've been in a lockdown again and only come out today after a month. But the lockdown allowed me to really just re-engage with my practice because I wasn't showing. I knew that for this year, there wouldn't be a lot of shows. And usually I'm making work for shows or getting works ready for shows that are coming up. So I sort of just went back to my roots and I explored things purely on my own terms. And sort of back to what Derek was saying, I didn't really have an idea in my head about what it was I was going to do, but I know I wanted to sort of interact with collage again, but take it one step further. And throughout the lockdown, I made a series of work, which is still ongoing, but it's fully developed, called the Isolation Portraits, which is what Maria's showing here. And the sort of the work itself was really a response to what I was experiencing in lockdown. And for me, it's been a bit bizarre because I think as people and as a sort of a human race, on a fundamental level, we're very social creatures. To be put into this position where you don't have that ability to socialise, it was important for me to sort of internalise this and sort of turn back to my work and try and make sense of this new paradigm. And I made this work which dealt with, portraiture. It's what I first started out as an artist at an art school. And I went back to the roots, as it were. And I wanted to make work which was immediate and accessible, but it used abstraction as a means of escape. Most of my work, if not all of it, has an abstracted language. And the reason I engage with abstraction is because of the way it can allow your mind to go to different places. I'm not too fond of art, which is very direct. And it can only be sort of interpreted one way. The beauty of abstraction is that ability to escape into it. But I wanted to use portraiture to give it some immediacy, but then abstract that portraiture and give people the opportunity to escape, but also come together in a shared experience. And that's how the isolation portraits came into being in the very early stages.
Yeah, just beautiful. I only have 4 up here. On his site, you'll be able to see more, but those 4 are just like, they're just stunning. They make me smile. They make me giddy. Like, I think anyone who sees them is like, wow, you know, they're just gorgeous. And I think very cool expression of, yeah, of what we all felt at one point or another. Like, even, you know, I don't know if you guys felt this, but you know, someone that's, I'm always home all the time working, and 10, 12, 14 hours can go and I haven't seen a single person. Now I'm married, very different, but at the end of the day, like, I don't know if I can go days without talking or seeing people, you know? But there was a moment with the first lockdown that you're told you can't go out. And when someone tells you you can't do something, even though you already don't do it, you're like, wait, what? What do you mean I can't go out? And then you just feel this, for me, it was a struggle. So to see the beauty in that through your art has been really refreshing, just gorgeous. Has anyone else felt kind of that feeling of isolation during this weird 2020?
Oh yes, I feel like if you say no, you're you're a horrible liar. I think there's not a single moment that all of us, you know, yeah, I tend to be a bit ambiverted person. You know, I turn on when I have to, but at the end of the day, I have to be, you know, on my own. But I think we had mentioned this before. You know, I started a new job, started working from home, and moved to a new city all at the beginning of COVID. So like all of my support structures had completely fallen away.
Yeah.
And right at the beginning of COVID. So of course, and you know, so I'd wake up in the morning, you know, do my little morning routine, sit down at my desk in my room and start, you know, typing away and working. And you know, we got to the point where, you know, clients would call in and it's like, oh my God, like, how's your day? Like, take 5 more minutes, just have a discussion and just talk about how your day was, because I can't do this by myself.
Yeah, absolutely. So wild, huh? Well, so does anyone have any questions about anything that we've spoken about so far, or any comments? Awesome. And if you guys have questions, again, you just got to interject with me, because I just have a ton of questions so that I'd love to chat about. So Dean, obviously, you know, tonight is wine and wisdom. So we always talk about wine and charity, philanthropy, and all that good stuff. So first of all, you're drinking a beer.
Yes.
First, which is totally fine. But do you like wine?
Yes and no. I mean, in the UK, there's not a huge wine drinking culture. It is mainly beer. I mean, we live in Europe. I don't know how much longer with Brexit, but we leave the winemaking up to the French. And in the UK, we make the beer. It's what we do. Might not be all that good, but it's what we do. But sort of, it's bizarre. I mean, as an artist, I should buy wine. I feel guilty not doing so. There's this long history, of course, of artists drinking wine. So sort of feels slightly bizarre that I don't.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. We may have to send you some. Oh, actually, we could. I know that I have importers over in Europe that might be able to grab our wine for you. But
send it my way. Send it my way.
So fun. I'd love to see you do some of your work with art. I mean, I'd love to see you do some of your work with art. Oh goodness. Should I have some wine? I'd love to see you do some of your art.
A little less wine.
I've only had half a glass. That's the worst. So yeah, at the end of the day, I'd love to see something with wine. I think that'd be so fun. Yeah, that would be really cool to have you do something with that. Very hard medium, because it's like water paint. So
it is. You can stain with it, and in many ways, the sort of viscosity of wine is similar to the viscosity of my paints anyway. So there's a similarity there. There's also an avenue which could be explored. And the weird thing with the paintings, I don't use conventional mediums anyway. It's really weird stuff that I mix together. So I think, you know, why not? It might be the next best thing.
Right? Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely.
So question, has anyone done wine and art nights? Like, have you guys done that kind of stuff?
Officially, no, but I mean, if you're asking, drinking and doing something artistic have come hand in hand, but I don't know that I've ever gone to like a wine and paint by numbers class or anything like
Yeah,
that.
like there's that thing that people do now. Like they go to this art studio and it's like you bring wine and it's a wine.
A sipping, I know what you're talking about. In New York, it's big. They'll rent out a whole lounge or bar, a group of people, and have wine and paint.
Paint. Yeah, like that's a thing. Deirdre, I feel like you might have done that, or I think I saw something. I'm not sure if Deirdre's done it, but I feel like that's a pretty big thing. Dean, have you ever done anything like that where you host an art night and just a bunch of drinking? And
No, I mean, this is going to be an incredibly boring answer to your question. I mean, I've always been really strict about whenever I make art, that it's gone completely clear-headed when I do it. You know, there's also this romantic notion of the artist that's the bohemian that goes out, drinks too much, paints too much, but in that drunken stupor makes a masterpiece. I mean, I've always been scared that if I did paint whilst drunk and I did make a masterpiece, it'll be downhill from there. So I've always been really strict with myself. No, it's a serious thing. You can't do it whilst you're under the influence. So for me, no, never.
oh, good. No, I can't say I've done it, but I know that those classes are like a thing. You know, I should let me check Facebook if anyone's actually writing. Guys, I need help. I need someone to help me with this stuff. It looks like some people are commenting, but I think we're okay. Should be okay. Next time, come on Zoom, guys. Come on the Zoom. This is where I focus. Awesome. So, Dean, I have another question for you if others don't interject. But okay. So, how does wine play into the art culture scene? How does wine play into that scene, if at all, in your world?
I sort of think, you know, that the making of wine in and of itself can be considered an art form. I think anything which requires a lot of time, love, and dedication, and this process of refinement is an art form. So, you know, the process of making wine, there are clear similarities between that and the process of making a painting. A lot of the things which go into both are there. You know, I mean, the biggest differences, of course, are the senses in which these evoke. You know, you drink wine, you smell wine. You don't really do the same with painting. I mean, what I do is purely visual, cognitive. But I think the biggest similarity between, you know, wine, for example, and art is the ability to bring people together in a shared experience, but also to offer something bigger than itself. I mean, look at tonight. We're in a pandemic, but from people all over the world, we're online chatting and communicating. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah. Represent 3 continents right now. Yeah, we have Argentina, the States, and UK over in Europe. Well, yeah, Europe. So I was gonna say Brexit, but that's not part of that yet. Not yet. We'll see what's going on. But yeah, you know, 3 continents on this call, and we're all here over wine and art, and yeah, it's quite amazing what can happen, right? But I've always looked at wine, I guess, because I've gone to a lot of galleries. I think all of us can, I'm almost positive all of us are really big art lovers on this call. I know my dad's house is filled with art from Africa and friends who are from, you know, actually she was Australia or South African and now she's in South Africa, but he has art from Rwanda and Italy and photographs and from all over, right? And I just think of my home has art from everywhere. I think I know Erin, I know Natty's a painter herself. Natty's in Argentina. She paints gorgeous stuff. She doesn't consider herself an artist because she just does it for her home. Look at her, she's saying no.
No, you're an artist, Natty. You're an artist.
Of course you're an artist.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're all art lovers here, and creators to some extent. You know, I know Mike, he owns his own business. Like you said that art is something when you focus and you're passionate and you create something from nothing, which is usually an idea or a thought, and then you execute that, that is art. You know, I consider myself an artist. I do art, but I think of my businesses as my art more than I do the art that I do on a canvas. And so it's just quite amazing when we think of all of us being these artists and unified in a moment of time where right now, I think a lot of us have this time. Are we being artists? Are we creating things with the spare time we have, or are we wasting it? And I think that's something that's to be explored right now. Are people wasting their time in this unprecedented time, or are they creating something? Are they sharpening their tools? Are they, you know, creating other pieces of art? But yeah, it's something to explore.
Are they using their art to just stay positive and stay alive every day and positive, you know, want to wake up?
Yeah, that's right. Dean, Dean also has a story about in his art academy, one of the students, you know, if you could share that, I think that'd be a great segue into what I want to talk about, which is charity and philanthropy and how art plays into that.
Yeah, I mean, I run an art academy, and one of the students I used to have, it was clear that there was the onset of dementia there. And for me, you know, in the moment, I only really sort of thought of it or saw it as providing a class. But as the classes progressed and I got to know the student and the family more, it became clear that the classes weren't just a class for them. It was something much bigger. And it sort of made me realise, you know, just the power of art and what art can actually do for people. I mean, a massively sobering experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Art therapy is a big aspect. So a lot of you guys know that we're on Wine and Wisdom, which is for Humanity Wine Co., for our wine company. But on the Del Sol side, Humanity Del Sol, many of you on here are donors of ours. Art therapy is a critical aspect to what we do with the orphans between the ages of 2 and 18 years old. Once they turn 18, depending on what they have, we can then help them with art therapy, but they do see a professional therapist. And so between 2 and 18 years old, we provide them with art supplies, anything that they need, even sensory stuff to do art. Is it you know, hand, you know, where they're painting with their hands and making it more sensory. But art therapy is critical to coping skills. So we put that in the category of coping skills. So I've realized, and I think Natty, we talked about this a few times. Right now, art is essential to living like sanity, you know, having some sanity in our lives. Like you said, it's essential. And so I just applaud artists that do this for other people. I applaud you, Dean, that you recognized art is so much more than just an opportunity to have someone escape, like the person in taking the artwork, you know, that's observing it or just, you know, enjoying it, for them to escape, but actually doing it is the other lens of art that we can teach. And you don't have to be good, right? You just got to do it.
That's it.
Yeah. We're running into time here. Does anyone have any questions for Dean or comments?
I had one quick one. I'm lying. It's nothing I do is ever quick. So, you know, okay. So, you know, I tend to be a big philosophy person. And so, you know, philosophy and there's a whole, you know, section of philosophy designated to art, and, you know, it's aesthetics theory and everything. But most proponents of moral philosophy will definitely tell you that in establishing a moral code, art is extremely important, because there's something about art that instinctively connects us to our own humanity, right? And there are several theories that say, you know, expressing and consuming art absolutely aids in the moral character of a person and the, you know, that humanistic quality. So, you know, when we talk about, you know, philanthropy and charity and just having compassion for that fellow human being, right? You know, I always have to ask, especially in a world that tends to, in the education part of things, you know, places art on a kind of low pedestal as a whole when it comes to the important things to teach people. But when it comes to being really, really good human beings, where do you think art plays its role in that? And how do you think we can kind of, as a group, kind of push people into using art more to become better people, I suppose?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think art is medicine for the soul. And without art, you can't have a truly enriched life. And it's sad. I mean, you're so right, Derek, that, and it's especially the case in the UK, the establishment doesn't deem art as necessary or even important in terms of educational structures. I think there needs to be a sort of a collective consciousness and an awakening of that, you know, without art, you really can't have an enlightened society or an enriched society. Sadly, I don't think a lot of people understand that. And in terms of sort of how it makes people better, I think it makes people, A, more understanding, B, more open, and C, more connected. I think art can do all of those things. You know, an example of this, abstraction. It can break through language barriers. You know, I work throughout China, America, and Europe. I don't speak the native language, but those people in those countries can understand what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, art has the ability to break down boundaries like no other. And I think until sort of people, or a collective of people, and a wider sort of understanding of people, you know, get to grips with that, sadly, it will still be within society and in the education sector, put down on the run. But it's only a matter of time, I feel. You know, it's only a matter of time until it starts to become a bit more appreciated.
Yeah. That's excellent.
I might interject that a fourth item to add to your list is humility.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. Oh gosh, do we need humility?
Yeah. Yeah.
But here again, you know, you set out to do something beautiful, and you know, I think the artist is probably the toughest critic, you know, his own critic, right? And so, you know, the sense of humility you get from falling short of what you had hoped for, you know, and again, hopefully it inspires you to be a better artist, but you know, you do have to deal with that dose from time to time.
Yeah, massively. I mean, I think everybody, or most artists, I mean, me especially, I strive for perfection, but you know, there's no such thing. But it's what keeps you going, it's what keeps you developing. You know, humility is massively important in that respect.
Yeah.
Massively.
Wonderful. Well, guys, we're going to come to a close. If you have questions for Dean, you can follow him on social media. You can go and talk to him there. You can send me messages. I will connect you guys through email. Dean we talk all the time.
Yeah.
And we've been talking all the time because Dean and charity go hand in hand. And so, as you know, you guys, we are on the nonprofit side and the for-profit. At the end of the day, our mission is one, it's singular, to break the cycles of poverty, abuse, abandonment, and sex trafficking. Humanity del Sol, which I am the founder of and I'm very proud of, we are partnering with Dean. And Dean has come up with those 4 prints that we showed you tonight. For the next 5 days, there's going to be a shopping experience. And those 4 prints are on sale, and Dean is giving us 50% of everything sold within those days. And so if someone was like, we want to do a commission piece, I believe Dean is, if I'm correct, Dean will, if he knows that it comes from us, he is giving us 50% to the Humanity del Sol program for abandoned youth. And so I just want to thank you, Dean, for that. I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm going to drop the link. It's shop.humanity.com/collections/art for humanity. And you guys will see it throughout social media. It's going to be, we're going to be for the next 5 days pushing this very hard because this is an extreme honor to have someone of Dean's caliber and his true, it's just incredible what he's done in his body of work. And he has been acclaimed internationally and that he's giving us 50%. So Dean, I want to thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm hoping, we've already sold 1 piece, by the way, guys, and I can't we sold it before we even announced it, which is like awesome. But I just couldn't believe it. And I saw the order come in and I was like, how did this happen? You know? But what we're going to do is the hope is the sale of this art. So Art for Humanity, which I will drop the link everywhere. The sale of this, we are receiving a new youth. We just got her in. Her name is Luciana. I confirmed with Natty. Natty is our program coordinator in Argentina. She came out of the girls' orphanage in San Martin, Argentina, which is where I live. And she was, listen to this, guys. She was referred to us by 2 girls that are currently in our program that came out of the same orphanage. And I was just like, yes, the program works. And they're telling kids about it that they went to the orphanage with. And this girl, Luciana, has 2 children. One is about to be 2 years old and one is 3 years old, Natty, going on 4. So let's say 1 and 3. And
yeah, I want 3.
Yep, that the sale, any sales that are coming from the Art for Humanity is going to go to her transition home for her and her children. And we take care of everything in the transition home while they get settled, get their mentor. Then they go through their training to internship and job placement. So Dean, thank you. Thank you for offering us this opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You guys, I want to cheers. I have just a little bit left. Cheers, you guys. You guys are amazing. I absolutely thank you for another wonderful night. And this recording will be up later on. But guys, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate. I want to say Happy Holidays. God bless you guys, and check out our art when you see the link. Again, I don't know that I can drop it in Zoom. Oh, I can drop it in Zoom, actually. I will drop it in Zoom, but you guys, the most part, you'll see it in email, Instagram, social, Facebook, and yeah, I guess anywhere else you'll see it. You will see this link. So there's the link. Just dropped it. Thank you guys, and y'all, I love you, and I look forward to seeing you. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. Dean, get to bed. It's like 2 a.m. You guys have a wonderful night. Cheers.
Cheers. Have a wonderful night.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Excellent. So Dean, I will stop sharing on Facebook.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Wonderful.